Michael Shantzis si è laureato in matematica applicata alla Brown University. Alla View Conference 2010 presenta come è stato realizzato il prototipo di Wall-E in carne ed ossa, in soli 6 mesi, con lo scopo di farlo interagire con i conduttori TV e passeggiare su prestigiosi red carpet.
When did I understand what I really want to do in my life? I have many answers to that. One is when I was a child, I really understood that where my heart was in the merging of the arts and sciences in some way. I could go back to when I was applying to college. I realized that I looked back and realized that I had written essays about this. Where I realized that it's precisely where I wanted to be was computer graphics, though, was in college when I was actually working with a mathematician who was visualizing surfaces in higher dimensions. And the way that he would do it is just as you'd project a 3D object like a house onto a piece of paper, he was projecting 4D objects into 3 dimensions and then putting that on a screen. And what I realized is that I actually liked the art of creating the images much better than I like the mathematics. I hope he's not watching this, my old professor. But that was where the real switch happened. Furthermore, I've always been, since, as many will say of my generation, Star Wars was a huge influence on them, as was just the entire revolution of special effects, and so that also was a big part of it. So CAPS was, I think it stood for, it's funny how we all forget, and you hear it somehow so frequently worded as one thing or another. It was Computer Aided Production System. The thing is that back then, the way that people used to do animation, traditional cell animation, is they would take acetate cells, they would transfer lines over to the acetate, typically using India ink or some Xerox process. And then they would sit and laboriously paint in the regions, sandwich all the cells together with the background that was painted, and take a snapshot of it. We basically replaced that process with a computer. Rather than taking the line art and translating it over to acetate, you would take the line art, you would scan it in, you would bring it up in a system very similar to Photoshop, and then you would use a system that is very similar to Shake now or Nuke, and you would composite it together and write it out to film. So it was really just a simplification and a computerization of a pre-existing medium. How could he become something real in 6 months? It was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of, in my slide, one thing that I said was, I put in a slide for good engineering. We had to basically schedule it and have a lot of luck. The schedule basically said that, certain things had to get done at certain times. There was a lot of parallel scheduling, and it had to be the case that nothing went wrong. We were fortunate enough that nothing went wrong. You could say part of it was fortune, part of it was good planning. It was, in reality, it was a little bit of both. But, it really ended up working out well in the end.